Joining us right now on the phone line is the only man every single year at the Super Bowl when the commissioner holds his State of the State Union address and then holds questions. The only one who leaves the light on for Southern California football, asking him when is football coming to Los Angeles. It's Sam Farmer of the LA Times. And Sam, it just seems, don't tease me here. What's going on with the Southern California Los Angeles football situation, Sam?
How you doing, Rich?
How are you?
Thanks very much for having me on.
Oh, please.
This is really interesting. With Stan Kroenke, now the owner of the Rams, forming a joint venture with the owner of the 238-acre property at Hollywood Park, with the idea of building an 80,000-seat NFL stadium. This is really appreciably different than the plans we've seen over the last 15 years, because you have an existing owner who's involved. And so if this were a game of Clue, we'd have the who and the where already spotted to us. So it's a big deal, and it'll be interesting to see if this finally gets the ball rolling.
Well, the question is then, Sam, to use your analogy, who's got the lead pipe to keep this from happening? You know, I mean, that's the question. Because
I'll be stealing that for tomorrow's column, by the way.
Please.
Thank you, Rich.
Sam, you know, that's what I do here on this program. I just want to leave people in a better spot than I found them. So
you feed me lines.
Because Sam, I mean, it's so many times, as you know, you hear it's going to happen, and now you hear of an owner doing this. The NFL is clearly going to put its foot down and say they're in control of this market, as it has done over and over and over again over the last several weeks, months, if not years. And one of the chief spokesmen of the National Football League, Brian McCarthy of the NFL, giving a response to your article, Sam. I'm sure you saw it, but I want to put it on the screen for those watching and reading it for those listening. No team has applied for relocation, and there will be no team relocation for the 2015 season. We are committed to working towards having franchises that are strong and successful in their existing markets. Any decision on relocation in 2016 or later is subject to approval by the 32 clubs. An affirmative vote by 24 of 32 clubs, 3/4, is required. Now, none of that, what I saw in there, says Stan Kroenke can't build a stadium. Am I right, Sam?
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. But you bring up a very good point, and I want to address something here. The league has a problem on its hands because in this game of musical chairs, you've got a maximum of 2 chairs and 3 teams on year-to-year leases that want out of their leases, or that want out of their current stadium situations, the Raiders, Rams, and Chargers. If you have a game with 2 chairs and 3 teams, there's inevitably going to be a loser. The league cannot have a loser. It cannot have 3 teams apply for relocation and then have one team skulk back to its old city, scalded and rejected, and expect to sell tickets in that city. If say, the Raiders and the Rams were to relocate to L.A. And play in an Inglewood stadium, and Dean Spanos, the owner of the Chargers, has applied for relocation and not gotten an L.A. spot, how's he going to be received in San Diego? Therefore, the league has to resolve at least one of these stadium issues before it can move forward.
Well, which one do you think might be most viable to have revived?
Ironically, it's probably St. Louis, because there's no public money to get any kind of funding to get a Raiders deal done up there. Coliseum City is just sort of a pipe dream now. San Diego's tried for 12 years to get something done, and they haven't been able to get anything done down there. And that city is, close to bankrupt. And, there's public money on the table in St. Louis. So I think the league would be hesitant to leave public money on the table there, in part because of the message it sends to other franchises around the league and other cities.
What about this, though, Sam? What about this, though? Let me throw this one out to you, because Stan Kroenke, as we all know, throughout his entire career of being a mogul, other than, the Screaming Eagle lines that I really would love to have, to be very honest, I'll throw that out there. It's about real estate. Is it possible that he stays in St. Louis but becomes the landlord for the Raiders and the Chargers in Los Angeles at the same time. Is that feasible, Sam?
I guess anything is feasible and workable, but it would seem to me that if you were going to leave your current situation, particularly if you're the Chargers and not hurting as bad as the Raiders financially, it's going to have to be an enticing deal, and you don't want to have those assets stripped from you. The assets, as in, this is our stadium, we're going to collect all the suite revenue and the parking and the concessions, et cetera. If you are playing in a stadium that you don't control, it might not be as good a situation as you're leaving. So, you know, you're basically making your name mud in the city that you leave.
Yeah.
And taking a lot of risk to play in somebody else's stadium. So then, anything's possible, but to me, you've got to make it mighty attractive to that team that's going to leave its city to play in a rented building.
Last question for you then, Sam Farmer of the Los Angeles Times. Help me read between the lines of your report today in the newspaper then. Is Stan Kroenke sort of going rogue right now? Is this stadium being built come whatever happens? It's coming?
Well, I think that people are a little scared because he's an aggressive guy. He's the second richest owner, and it'll be very interesting to see what comes down the pike over the next few months and how the Chargers react to this, because their reaction, I think, will dictate where this thing winds up, if we wind up getting a team at all. But this is the most serious scenario that I've seen in my 15 years covering this.
Who is the richest owner, if it's not Stan? Who is that?
Paul Allen.
Paul, what a stupid, dumb question that was.
Yeah, but Stan's, Stan's at least Forbes says Stan's at like 5.8,
yeah,
and his wife is at 5.6.
Oh. And
Paul Allen's 17 plus.
And where am I on that list, Sam? Am I on that list anymore?
We're down, actually.
We're down? No way. Wait a minute.
Combined, we're fairly far down, and I'm way farther down than you are.
Sam Farmer, come on now. Let's band together. Thanks for joining, Sam. I want you in the studio here. Come here. It's a palace here in Southern California.
Absolutely. It looks awesome.
We're talking football here in Southern California. Okay.
You're the best, bud.
You too, Sam. Thanks. That's at LA Times Farmer on Twitter. Go check out his report in the LA Times today.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.